Assalamu alaikum. Mr. Moderator, our distinguished guests, brothers and sisters, our friends and our enemies.
Salatu wa salam Rasulullah wa ba'd. In the name of Allah, may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon his last and final messenger. Family, friends, foes, haters, and hateettes, welcome back to the features. I greet you all in peace and love and no hatred in my heart. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So before we begin, please like, please subscribe, and please share. As you know, we got a lot of haters up in here. And today we are doing the continuation of what we were doing last night. Okay. Last night we covered a hella lot of stuff with this new alt-right push in a Muslim space, you know, with your Utopian da'i elites. And we made it very clear that it's not possible for any Muslim to align themselves with certain personalities unless they were politically aligned with that same ideology. Made it very clear. We talked in great detail of something I wanted to talk about for a long time with Mr. Jesse Lee Peterson and his relationship with Eddie from the Dean Show. Okay? We're talking great detail about that. But we've been talking along, like for, I don't know, the better part of like a couple of years anyways, about this push to the right for Muslims. Mostly immigrants. Mostly immigrants who are hiding their racism behind politics. Like we ain't seen that before. Like this is something new. Like you discovered some new toy or something like that. Those of us who are native to the West, this ain't nothing new. And you ain't that savvy. And as a matter of fact, it is because the good nature of converts that you were able to get away with that stuff for so long. Because converts just want to be brothers. That's it. But there's a new day. And those of you who don't want to be brothers with us, then we just ain't brothers. You're not going to go around and spit on the suffering of black people and demand that we support your suffering and say that we're brothers all in the same breath. Those days are finished. What you think it is? And furthermore, to shield yourself behind kafir politics on top of that. And saying that you need these alliances because of the mess that your immigrant parents made to begin with. Because you don't want to listen to us. And you must align yourself with nefarious elements, blatantly nefarious elements from the Muslim community who are telling you, and they're not even trying to shy about it either, we can unite with all Muslims despite their Aqidah differences and their madhab differences and their manhaj differences, as long as they're not Muslim. I'm not liberal, rather. Can you imagine? Anybody can be criticized except for a liberal Muslim. And they say that openly in so-called Salafi conferences, and nobody says a thing. And now your Utopian da'i elites have accepted anti-blackness wholesale. And you think that we're going to run behind you and argue with you? Who are you? What Allah left the Prophet ﷺ is enough for us. If you want to reject the authentic hadith and the ayat of brotherhood, and if you want to reject the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ saying there's no superiority of the white over the black or the Arab over the non-Arab, in order for you to butt shake and booty shake and twitch and twirl and twerk for Zaddy and them, that's on you. But we ain't here to argue with you. And as a matter of fact, I'm tired of talking about YouTubers. I'm tired of it. But because millions of Muslims have decided to invest in their own indoctrination through YouTubian da'i elites, who all they do is repeat and regurgitate kafir alt-righters, and nobody else is brave enough to do this. And then we at the Black Muslim grassroots have taken up this task. Who cares who it agitates and irritates? We know you don't like the sight of us. We know you don't like the sound of us. And quite frankly, we just don't care anymore. We're not going to complain to you anymore. We're complaining directly to Allah. We're not begging you for nothing. These videos are for those who are looking for real brotherhood, who are interested in real brotherhood. So those of y'all who want to twitch and twirl for Zaddy, like, what use do we have for you? We ain't got no use for you. Those of you who like to defend the very same oppressors who bombed and depleted your countries so that your parents can run up into Zaddy's countries so you can point your fingers at us and tell us all the stuff that we doing wrong, while exonerating the oppressor. What use we got for you? What kind of brotherhood is that? We got no use for that brotherhood. You are the same people, the same biscuits that at the time of Musa, those Beni Israel who are trying to get in close with Musa, with Pharaoh in them, that's you. Sell your own people out in order to get close and get biscuits with the ruling class. That's y'all. That ain't us. You think because Allah put these people in charge that if you're getting good with them, then the earth will open up for you. That's what you believe. And so your morals are their morals, and your arguments are their arguments. And you hate to be told the truth. You hate that. So you have nothing but epithets and ad hominem attacks for us, and labeling. Every single time we blast one of these bones and biscuits, they label us as liberal. Like, what use do we have for liberalism? We ain't got no use for that. Y'all are tripping. But that's all you have left, because you don't have no Quran, you don't have no Sunnah, and you don't have no morals, and you don't have no arguments that are original. So all you have is, you are just the woke mob and all this kind of nonsense. Now, over here, we have this brother. 1 second, y'all. Life Huck. I don't know much about him. He may be a sincere brother, he may not. But he invited Jake Shields to his channel. And one might ask, well, why would a Muslim invite Jake Shields to his channel? Is Jake Shields a Muslim? No. But why would somebody invite Jake Shields, of all people, to his channel? Jake Shields. If y'all don't know who Jake Shields is, Jake Shields is a former MMA fighter. I've been following Jake Shields. I've been following MMA since UFC 1. Okay, so I know quite a bit about MMA. All right, I've been following MMA for a long time. Okay, so Jake Shields, he had beat some
Not worried at all.
monsters.
I rely on God, Allah.
He beat some monsters in MMA. 1 second, y'all. What just happened here? So Jake Shields, let me just put this back here. For those of y'all who know MMA, he beat some really big monsters. Okay, he beat Paul Daly when he was in Elite XC. Okay, when he was in Strike Force, he beat some absolute giants: Robbie Lawler, Jason Miller, Dan Henderson. He was actually a former Strike Force champion, which is how he ended up in the UFC to begin with. Okay, that's how he ended up in the UFC, right? Because he beat like monsters. Didn't do too well in the UFC, but nonetheless, he's a UFC fighter, like any other UFC fighter. So you're probably asking, well, why would somebody invite Jake Shields to the channel? 1 second, y'all. What the heck is going on here? 1 second. Why would somebody invite Jake Shields to their channel? And this is a great question. Why would they invite Jake Shields to their channel? But as you can see here, what's his name again? Dean Huck or whatever his name is. He's got him on, okay? Life Huck or whatever. I don't know the brother. I don't know his politics or whatnot. You know, but I know he has Jake Shields on his channel. So then we go, we find this dude. Let me get him up here. One second, y'all. We find this dude, Mr. Dilly. Dilly, we know, okay? Not a big fan of Dilly. Not a big fan, to say the least. Dilly is a typical YouTubian. And on top of that, he's his spectacular. I mean, he says some outlandish, crazy things sometimes, like some crazy stuff. But we never talk about him, we just leave him alone, let him do his YouTubian stuff. But Dilly invites Jake Shields to his channel. Be like, where are you going with this? Like, why are we talking about some MMA fighter? I'm getting there. Okay, you just relax. Let me do my thing. Okay? Let's hear what Dilly has to say from 5 pillars about Jake Shields, shall we? Let's hear what we got to say.
For his welterweight championship fight against GSP, and as I already mentioned, there's so much more I can say about him, but it is none other than Jake Shields of American Jiu-Jitsu. Jake, greetings, bro.
Hey, such an honor to be here. It's a weird world. We connected on Twitter last week, and here we are doing an interview.
It's mad, but truly, I am honored because I watched you as a young man, right? And we saw you in UFC because that's my first clock to you because we weren't really into wrestling and jiu-jitsu. It was Jake Shields in UFC. I'm honored to have you on. Thank you so much.
Hey man, thanks so much. Like you said, it's great to be here. I love I do lots of podcasts for MMA and political stuff, but it's nice when as some people reach out to me to the Muslim world, or Islamic world, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Something speaking totally different. I think
You already said. You already said. It's nice for people from the Islamic world, from the Muslim world, to reach out to him. Yeah, what's wrong with that? Look in here, my slow Negro friend. On the surface, there's nothing wrong with that, correct? On the surface. But let's see what Dilly has to say about why he invited Jake Shields on his channel, shall we? Let's keep watching.
That's how we connected. I sent a couple of tweets out last week, not even that complimentary, but just semi-complimentary of Islam. And one was actually me sarcastically, mocking Islam, but really complimentary compared to the West. Another one was, some good things about it, and it didn't get the reaction I expected. It seemed to have gone completely viral in the Muslim or Islamic world. Got thousands of followers. And
did you hear that? What did we say about these bones and biscuits who are making these alt-righters popular because of tweets? How many times we mentioned that? Jake Shields said, I just sent a tweet and it went viral. Who made it viral? Do you remember that we said that Andrew Tate became popular not because he was popular, but because the Muslims made him popular? If you're not an MMA fan, you won't know who Jake Shields is. I know who Jake Shields is because I'm an MMA fan. Now, do you think that Mr. Jake Shields got popular, his tweet went viral because of his MMA? You're talking about somebody who is, you could say retired, past his prime, and now he's looking for the next lick. He's looking for the next lick. Let's keep watching, y'all.
everyone's extremely respectful. My DMs were just so filled with people tell me about your religion. No one being pushy. Everyone be like, oh, here's some reading if you ever want anything. It was really interesting to see how people reached out, but in such a nice manner, and it showed why I respect your religion so much.
Wicked. There's loads of jiu-jitsu and MMA enthusiasts who tune into this podcast, and they would have my guts for garters if I didn't ask you at least a few questions. So I'm going to ask you a few questions, only 3 questions. I kindly request that you can make them as brief as possible, because I've kept the questions quite simple. So I've got a competition coming up in February, my first competition ever.
Anyways, the point is, let's leave the rest of that stuff. Let me just get this thing off here. The point is that Jake Shields and Dilly, he mentioned this actually. Maybe I'll rewind it to put it up. But he mentioned that the reason why he wanted to invite Mr. Jake Shields to the podcast is because of a viral tweet. Okay? That's what he said. Remember Andrew Tate? His tweet went viral. Who made it viral? The Muslims made it viral, correct? So if y'all thought the grift was fake, no, the grift is absolutely real. It's absolutely real. But these Muslims are spreading these tweets all over the place. And like I said, Jake Shields is, for lack of better words, is you can say he's a washed up MMA fighter. He doesn't fight no more. Put it that way. He don't fight no more. He got no reason to be popular like that. I remember how we said that Kevin Lee, who is actually, you're talking about a Kevin Lee who had a very successful run in the UFC until he didn't. Much longer than Jake Shields, actually, much longer. Became Muslim. None of your YouTubian elites covered it until we actually mentioned it, and then suddenly people want to interview him and stuff. Kevin Lee. Most of y'all didn't know who Kevin Lee was. Most of y'all don't know who Jake Shields was until
there's a lot of lies in this story.
Until Muslims brought him to your attention, correct? So let's look to see. Let's listen to Mr. Jake Shields about something here, right? Because remember, he went viral because of a tweet. He went viral because of a tweet. Nobody was thinking about Jake Shields until the Muslims made him popular because of his compliments, so-called compliments about Islam and stuff. Okay, and we'll come back to that. Let's listen. Actually, let me try to find that. 1 second, y'all. One second. Let me just play this out here. Forget all that stuff, man. Anyways, I can't find it. Maybe it's in the beginning. Hold on, let me see. Forget that. Anyways, let's play Jake Shields. Let's go.
There's a lot of lies.
So Jake Shields says that this Mr. Michael Jackson should start calling him Nazi for no reason. Because that's real life. You know, people just go around calling people Nazis for no reason, right? Hey, listen, let's keep listening now. So Jake Shields says nobody called him a racist, nor would they call him a racist, okay? His words, right? His words. Let's keep watching, y'all. Okay, just follow me. Be patient with me. I know some of y'all are like, what is going on here? What is this guy talking about? I know, right? Who is this Michael Jackson? What does this have to do with Billy? What are you talking about? You know, just be patient, all right? Dilly brought Jake Shields on his platform because of this viral tweet, correct? Who made the tweet viral? It was Muslims, just like Muslims made Andrew Tate's viral tweet viral, correct? This is how Jake Shields got his introduction to the Muslim world. There's some tweets and stuff. Y'all with me so far? Well, since Mr. Michael Jackson called Jake Shields a Nazi, let's see if Mr. Mike Jackson called Jake Shields, as he said, a Nazi and a racist for no reason. Because we're talking about tweets here, right? We want to make tweets go viral, and we want to put people. We want to give people the bag for some tweets they make, right? We as Muslims, right? We want to do this, right? Let's have a look at some of Jake Shields' tweets. Then, y'all ready? Y'all ain't ready. Y'all are not ready. Let me pull this up. 1 second, y'all. One second, y'all. So here's Jake Shields. This is Mike Jackson. Every day, the algo puts this coward Nazi on my feed, spreading its white fragility. Imagine if this thug had this type of energy to stop the white violence destroying society. What's he talking about? This is Jake Shields' tweet. The one who's saying that he's not racist. Okay? Why do so many people in the black community constantly defend violent career criminals? They are much more likely to kill or rob another black person. Whites, Asian, and Mexicans all want the worst of our racists in jail or even killed by the police. This is a sincere question, so keep it civil. Family. Can y'all hear me now? I just wonder if y'all can hear me. Excellent. Family. Somebody who asked this question. Okay, y'all just gonna hear the video. Okay, I'll come back to it, inshallah. Somebody who asked this question. Does it sound like a person who's not racist to you? Why do so many people in the black community constantly defend their violent career criminals? Let me ask you a counter question, Jake Shields, since you're not racist. Why do so many white people in the white community defend our murderers? Like you, Jake Shields, defend our murderers. And we're going to come back to this violent career criminals thing. We're going to come back to this. You are talking about people who have gone throughout the entire earth and pillaged every single darker skinned country on the planet. Pillaged. And that's putting it lightly. Built their countries off of human trafficking. And he is comfortable enough to ask, why do black people in the black community constantly defend violent career criminals? Who are these black people defending violent career criminals? Who are they? What he is asking, he's asking, why are black people making noise about white folks who murder black people with criminal records? Like George Floyd. Like Jordan Neely. And if y'all don't believe me, watch this, y'all. We ain't done. This is Jake Shields. We are talking about people who Muslims made popular because of their tweets, right? That's what they're telling us. Jordan Neely attempted to kidnap a 7-year-old girl and beat a 67-year-old grandma senseless. If a junkie tries to kidnap my daughter or assaults my mother, he will endure a far more painful ending than Neely. You see, what he is saying is that the murderer of Jordan Neely needs to get a pass. That's what he's saying. Why? Why does he need to get a pass? Because what just happened here? He needs to get a pass because he's white. Well, how dare you black people defend Jordan Neely, who wasn't hurting anybody. He was being a nuisance. But let's say, for example, I accept this argument. Did the murderer of Jordan Neely, did he know anything about his criminal record when he choked him to death? Did he know anything about that? You see, you want to criminalize anybody that you murder. You want to criminalize them. Let me tell you something. This tactic is old and tired. Every single black man that was lynched, all of them, without any exception, was criminalized. All of them. Malcolm X had a criminal record. Martin Luther King had a criminal record. Fred Hampton had. You cannot name a black person who stands up for the rights of black people except they try to criminalize them. And you think that you have some sort of moral high ground to criticize us while exonerating our murderers. Your heroes are our murderers. We are not the same. We are enemies. Let's be very clear. And these Muslims are shamelessly putting people like this in front of the Muslim world, not because of some viral tweet, but because they are anti-black. We ain't done. Jake Shields again. You think I'm just capping? No, I'm not capping. Look, this is Jake Shields again. Okay, look what he said. Just rewatched Kyle Rittenhouse shooting, and he didn't get nearly enough praise for staying composed under pressure. Who remembers Kyle Rittenhouse? That's two. That's two. Kyle Rittenhouse. These are the people that these guys push. Black junkie with over 40 arrests was harassing people on the subway. A black and white men working together to detain the junkie and ended up dying. He knows very well what he's doing. He knows what a chokehold is. This is an MMA fighter. That if anybody's seen that video, was that subduing a criminal? Putting somebody in a chokehold, a rear naked choke for 15 minutes? You know, this Jake Shields had a fight with a individual named Husimar Palaris. Husimar Palaris is known to hold on to leg locks. Husimar Palaris put Jake Shields in a leg lock and held on to it too long. And Jake Shields wanted to fight Husimar Palaris after the fight. But that's just a leg lock. Even if he broke your leg, you would live. What about a 15-minute long chokehold, Jake? One second, y'all. Jake Shields, I'm not a racist. Let me try to find that, get that video for y'all. One second.
There's a lot of lies in it.
I'm going to play it again. One second. Because y'all didn't hear it the first time. One second. Let me do this again. I don't think this sharing the sound. One second. Tell me if y'all can hear it.
There's a lot of lies in the stories. But first off, I'd never heard of Mike. We originally got into it because on Twitter, he started calling me a Nazi for no reason. I had no idea who he was, but...
Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? Y'all heard that, right? Press 1 if you heard that.
There's a lot of lies in the stories. But first off, I'd never heard of Mike. We originally got into it because on Twitter, he started calling me a Nazi for no reason. I had no idea who he was, but
Did you hear what he said? Does it sound like this Mike Jackson was calling Jake Shields a Nazi for no reason? Does it sound like that?
usually I would just block someone if they call me a Nazi, but I saw he was in the fight industry. So I'm extremely respected in the fight industry. Everyone in the fight industry, for the most part, loves me. No one's ever called me a racist, or would they? So for this guy in my industry thinking he'd right with that, I told him, I go, when I see you, Mike, there's going to be consequences. You know I'm going to see you. And he just laughed at me. And then, I saw him at the PI. And I go, I got in the cage. And I'm like, you said you would fight me when you saw me, that I was too scared of you because my white fragility. So let's go. And he just kept making excuses, saying, no, we're going to fight in Houston. My trainer already said we'd fight in Houston. I already called his trainer, and his trainer said he was scared of me. His trainer apologized. His trainer said he was an embarrassment with his racism. Pretty bad when, a trainer saying that.
Did you hear that? Jake Shields think that Mike Jackson is racist. When have you ever heard, if somebody calls you a Nazi, it's probably because you did something racist. Jake Shields, Kyle Rittenhouse, killer, murderer. What's the murderer of Jordan Neely? I can't remember his name. Defends the murderer, okay? Defends the murderer, okay? Not the murdered. But wait. Oh, Bilal, that might just be a coincidence. Word? Jake Shields. Congratulations, George Floyd, on hitting 3-year sobriety. This is the person who says he's never been called a racist. Well, guess what, Jake Shields? Congratulations, you're a racist. And also congratulations, George Floyd, for making it 3 years without robbing any pregnant woman. This is the Jake Shields that Muslims are inviting to their platforms. Multiple Muslims. This Jake Shields. Let me show y'all. Look. I'm going to read it. Congratulations, George Floyd, on hitting 3-year sobriety. Jake Shields. Also, congratulations, George Floyd, for making 3 years without robbing any pregnant women. Also, Jake Shields. He says he's not racist. This guy says he's not racist. This guy. We're not the same. Muslims have signed off wholesale on racism. They're not shy. They have no shame whatsoever. No fear of Allah at all in doing it. Why would you invite a non-Muslim like this? Because of a tweet. What about these tweets right here? Dilly? Let's talk about these tweets, Dilly. Do you have anything to say about these tweets? Y'all invited him, right? Tell us about these tweets. Y'all, you who like to put these types in front of the Muslims. But here's the thing. Jake Shields, again, he was retired. Nobody was looking for Jake Shields. All of a sudden, he discovered alt-right, became rabid with his anti-blackness, and he's an MMA fighter, mind you, just rabid with it. Talk about sincere question and whatnot. Defending our murderers. But let's say, for example, these Utopian data elites, they didn't know about all these tweets, which this is like nonsense. Of course they knew. They just didn't care. They just did not care. Let's say, for example, they didn't know. For sure they knew about this also viral tweet from Jake Shields. This is his most viral tweet previously. Y'all ain't ready for this. If y'all don't know Jake Shields. This was his previous most viral tweet. Y'all ready? Y'all ain't ready for this. Do you remember the day that Andrew Tate got arrested? Do y'all remember the day that Andrew Tate got arrested? Some of y'all might recall a certain tweet that Andrew Tate sent to Greta Thunberg. This is the same day that Andrew Tate got arrested, mind you. Andrew Tate was trolling Greta Thunberg. And Greta Thunberg replied with one of the most epic tweets in history, okay? Let's look at this. Let's look at this, y'all. This is the tweet. This is the same day that Andrew Tate got arrested, okay? Andrew Tate tags Greta Thunberg, okay? Because, Greta Thunberg, she's like, whatever. She's an activist, whatever. Hello at Greta Thunberg. I have 33 cars. My Bugatti has something, whatever, quad turbo. My 2 Ferraris. He's talking about This is just a start. Please provide your email address so I can send you the complete list of all my car collection and respective of enormous emissions. Because Greta Thunberg, she's environmentalist. Okay? Here's Greta Thunberg's response to this tweet. Yes, please do enlighten me. Email me at smalldenergy@getalife.com. Who remembers that? Y'all remember that? That's the same day that Andrew Tate got arrested. Greta Thunberg had the most epic comeback in Twitter history, okay? But who else went viral in this discussion? Mr. Jake Shields. He also went viral in the same discussion And this is what Mr. Jake Shields had to say. This is Jake Shields, mind you. This is the guy who is talking about why do black people support their violent criminals. Jake Shields says to Andrew Tate, just give her a proper smashing and she'll knock it off with her crazy feminist climate nonsense. That Jake Shields. Why didn't y'all invite him to your channels for this tweet here? Even if you didn't know about all the other stuff, you definitely knew about this one. And this should have been enough for you to double back and maybe think twice about inviting someone like this or someone who says this to your panel. But don't stop there. He also said, Andrew Tate and Greta Thunberg need to stop flirting and just F already. Jake Shields, ladies and gentlemen. This is the non-racist. This is the non-Nazi. This is the guy who has so much respect for the Islam culture. Islam culture. I have so much respect for the Islamic culture. This dude. This dude. These are the weirdos that your Tubian dad elites are putting in front of the Muslims. And they figured out the puzzle. They solved the puzzle. How do I go viral? Oh, I know. I'll say something cute about Islam. You don't believe me? Go right now in Just Pearly Things Clips channel. And go check her most recent videos. And you tell me which one has the most views. Go look right now. They all figured out the code. Just Pearly Things. All her videos are like maybe 1,000 views, 2,000 views, whatever. Why did Sneeko become Muslim? Almost 200,000 views. These folks, they don't care. The only reason why you would invite Jake Shields to your channel is because he's alt-righter. That's it. You didn't invite Kevin Lee when he became Muslim. You didn't invite Kyrie Irving when he became Muslim. You didn't invite Stephen Jackson when he became Muslim. But you invited Jake Shields for making a viral tweet, which the Muslims make viral because they are consuming this stuff on Twitter. This is what they're consuming. They are okay with this stuff. You get it? So don't think for a second, black folk, that these YouTubians are your friends. They're not. They're not your friends. They could care less about you. They want to get in good with Zaddy, these immigrants. And we can expect that from Dilly anyways. From 5 Pillars. But this stuff is growing and growing and growing and growing and growing. So unless your relationship is good with Allah, black folk, don't expect any friends out here. They've taken their side. The whole world looks at you as useless. They've extracted your bodies. They extracted all the wealth out of your communities. You know, they've vultured your cultures. You know what I mean? They done all they can possibly do. The only thing left for them to do now is make sure that you can never, ever, ever have even a chance of getting up. And this is where Allah comes in. Because we are not getting out of this condition without Allah. And to be honest, I'm tired of YouTubers. I'm tired of talking about them. I think y'all get the gist. I've done more than enough videos about YouTubers and their racist leanings, inviting racists to their channels, talking about all the common stuff that they have with racists. We talked about more than enough. Just keep in mind, this channel here is no longer monetized by YouTube. YouTube kiboshed the monetization from the features. So if you want to support the channel, you have to support it on PayPal or Patreon, or you can support it on Wealth Simple from the Cash App. On Wealth Simple. But we're no longer monetized. So because we're no longer monetized, YouTube is not going to put videos like this in front of people. Y'all have to put these videos in front of the people. So we're going to leave it at that, inshallah. I put the link on. I don't think anybody wants to come on. Right? I think we've done more than enough. I think we kind of killed this topic. So like, subscribe, share, hit me up on Patreon, subhanakallah bihamdik, wa share the end to stuff we're going to. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.